So I'm gonna just tell you, I'm gonna have Jalen. Jalen's gonna do my. He's doing my press conference today. So see how crowded it is here, Jay. Look how many people came to see me today. Really crowded, huh? All right, man. Let me get this done. All right. Peace. Hey, I got my flannel shirt on. Work day. All right. All right. Everybody call and check on me today. Suicide watch, I guess, huh? Well, I shouldn't even. Sure. As Dustin just said, I do want to start by wishing happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys and your families. You know, as we embark on this last opportunity for our 24 football family, really thankful for the time that you guys have given us all year long and how you guys have the positive stories and highlights that you've put on our program. It also leads me into how you know, I use that analogy about the map and the terrain a lot, and that when the map doesn't match the terrain, you go with the terrain. And so for us, that leads me to say, here's where we are. We're mathematically eliminated from being able to go to a bowl game, but we do have standards in our program, and one of those standards is how you finish things. And you know, I was, as you saw, I was talking to Jalen. He called me on my way here, and he's like, "Why you got this flannel shirt on?" I'm like, you know what? It kind of reminds me. We all, as coaches and as players, got a job to do. Finish the 24 season the best way we can. And I can think back to Vanita Locksley as you think about Thanksgiving week, and I think about my mom and how every morning she got up to go do a job working at Greater Southeast Community Hospital, where she had to walk sometimes. It was cold out. Sometimes it rained, snowed. But you know what? She just had to get up and go do her job, because if she didn't, we didn't eat. We didn't have a place to stay. And so it's kind of one of those weeks for me. As we say, how do you finish a tough season? It's been tough. We're not where we want to be. And I think anybody that's followed the program and that knows me knows that it's a really frustrating time, because we are a better team than maybe we've shown. And that at the end of it, when you probably put them all together, you'll see this season can be boiled up in probably 15, 20 plays that somehow, some way, we've got to figure out how to make. But what I also do is I talk to our team about when you have a job to do. I mean, it's like, you know, I hated raking leaves. And you look out the backyard, and when I was growing up, it wasn't no blowers. It wasn't the blowers and the tarps. It was a rake, and then every now and then you find a flat shovel, which helps you get it in the trash bags. But the whole time you raked it, you were MFing everybody under the sun as a kid. Like, I hate this, why we're doing it. But then you knew the reward of it was like, when you got upstairs and you looked out the window of grandma's house, you're eating your chili and your cornbread, and you just see the yard. It's like, wow, I actually did it. Well, that's kind of what we want to get accomplished this week as a program. And I got a bunch of seniors that are all for the smoke. They're all for it. They're showing up. They're doing the work. Nobody's hanging their heads. We're all disappointed. But again, as I told you guys before, I'm going to always choose optimism, and I think this team has embraced it. Gratitude, you know, learn that you really can't take anything for granted in life, and that's what this week's about, especially the time you get with people you care about. And you know, I saw a guy like Taze, man. I saw anxiety on his face when he took his senior picture, because the unknown for some of these guys is they've been in a really safe place. They've been in a cocoon here where I've seen these kids grow up, and I've kind of grown up with them, as I've said before. And talking to a lot of guys about it, particularly the seniors, I just think we need to be grateful for every second we have left together. And it's coming to a close. We like to bring it to a close the right way. Talks about something about how to finish, how you finish, looking out, seeing the yard perfectly raked, and just having a little sense of pride. And so, you know, a great opportunity against a team that has opportunity to go to playoff opportunities, championship game implications, and you know, great opportunity, a way to finish your career and going up to Penn State. Obviously, I go way back with James, very familiar with him as a person, and always enjoy competing against him and his team. Everyone in our building has a lot of respect for their team, a lot of strong relationships, obviously, from guys playing against each other or together. You know, they're extremely balanced in what they do. Good defense. You know, Tom Allen, former head coach, is over there taking over for Manny, and they've done a good job. I think they're number 2 in scoring defense, top 5 in scoring offense, and was really impressed with the way they finished a couple of games this year. You know, you look back and see the USC game, and then you see the game against Minnesota. They've played in some really been battle tested in some really tough, close games, and for us, you know what a great way to finish our 24th season is to go up there and compete against a playoff caliber team to really kind of see where we measure up. And I expect our guys to compete. We tend to play up, which I hate, and that's one of the consistencies that we got to get fixed. But I expect us to, and the captains that will be leading us up into Penn State will be Caden Prather, Josh Kaltenberger, Tajay Johnson, and Quayshawn Fuller will serve as our game captains going up to State College. So with that, happy Thanksgiving to all, and I will open it up to Dave's question of the day. Save it, Dave.
Mike, health-wise for excuse me, for Billy, how's he doing? What's the prognosis for him?
You know, he practiced yesterday. Yesterday was more of a walkthrough practice for us, as it was planned that way. He's still a little bit banged up, but you know what I've seen, Billy's been banged up all year, and I don't very rarely talk injuries, but you know he had back surgery back in May, and a couple things didn't get cleared till July, and really he fought through all year with some of these things, and I expect him to fight through to try to make himself available this weekend. If he doesn't, and obviously MJ will be prepared to take over and lead us into the game if Billy can't go.
And obviously the wins are the most important, but for personal accolades as far as Ty goes, is there an emphasis to try to get him that single-season receiving record, given what he's meant to the program and all that kind of his loyalty and commitment to the program?
You know, I didn't even know that there was something on the table about it. Okay, I didn't even know that, and it shows you kind of guy Ty is because it hadn't come up. Dustin, I don't know if you shared that with me yet, but he probably didn't because he knew that I wouldn't really talk about it. But no, I mean, obviously, personal awards are great, and I think for Ty and knowing what he's been through, and it'd be great to help him. But the emphasis will be on trying to win the game, and if those things happen within the framework of doing that, that's how it typically happens. So I expect Ty to give his best this weekend as he plays most likely in his last game as a Terp. So I'll be there to help if possible, but the emphasis is on let's try to figure out how to win it.
Mike, your defense faces another team that's really good on the ground this Saturday, Singleton and Allen. What makes those two guys special? How do they work together as a tandem?
In the Big Ten, man, big backs, heavy-handed, running. They both those guys have finishing speed. They run with power, size, and then you throw 44 in the mix. That's one of the things when you look at them. 44 is a guy they put in there as the wildcat quarterback slash, and he's taken some of those carries away from those guys, and he's just as talented. So you look at 3 heavy-handed finishers this time of year in the Big Ten. Obviously, we expect them to try to run the ball. They're very balanced in what they do, and they don't put themselves in harm's way a lot and have a unique scheme. They do a lot of exotic formations that create leverage and numbers at times, and so we've got to just be really clean in our alignments and with our eyes. But really good scheme. Guy from Kansas coming up, and you just can see that they put stress on defenses through exotic formations and how they line up.
And you mentioned their defense previously. I think they're 4th in the Big Ten against the pass, 5th against the run. What sort of challenges will they?
Yeah, I mean they've got some really talented at all 3 levels. They hit. I think they hit home runs in the portal with some of the corners they got. They got really good safeties, the linebackers, and then obviously the front 7 of their team is a strength, and it has been for a while. And with Tom taking over for Manny as the D coordinator, you can just see like he put his personality on it, but some of the same concepts, and they do a great job on the defensive end. For us, it's going to be important that we find ways to create manufacture some explosive plays, which has just been the missing piece of our offense here the last 3-4 weeks, is just our inability to create the explosives that we had going on earlier in the year.
Hey, Mike.
Hey.
You've had the three bowl games and, had time to take with your seniors then ahead of those games, I imagine. Is there something that you'll do? I know it's Thanksgiving week, but something that you'll do this week where you'll kind of be together with those guys one final time before their final game Saturday?
You know what? Haven't thought about it. Just trying to take in each day as we prepare for Penn State. It's a different feel and environment, knowing mathematically that this is it for us, so it brings a finality to it. But no, I haven't put a lot of thought into it, other than I know that this has been a special group for me as a coach, and as I said, this was the group that kind of I grew up with as a coach, and but I also caution that, and I've said this to Damon, what got us here won't get us there, and that's to me the moving forward, the optimism that I have is that what got this program to where it is today, for us to go to the championship level of brand of ball, you don't get stronger lifting the same weights. You got to keep adding and improving and elevating. And to me, this game here kind of gives us an opportunity, because you'll have a great opportunity against a really good team that has a chance to play and make the playoffs. So.
And speaking of that, they're number 4 in the country, but this league better than anybody. The Minnesota team plays them to within a point last week. Is there anything you can glean from those types of games that they've played, or is it still kind of Terps versus Terps and you guys doing your thing?
It's still us versus us. I mean, we played a really tough Oregon team, really, really tight and close. Sometimes you look at our scores, and I think you forget to see that it's a 6-point game against Iowa with 9 minutes to go. All right, you go into the Indiana game, the score wasn't what that was early in the game, and then kind of once the wheels fall off. So, it's going to be interesting as we got to get through this one and do the work. We got to get up, put the flannel on, the work jacket with locks on the jacket, and go get this work done. But I'm also looking forward to kind of diving into this thing and figuring out what got us here, what I need to do to get us there. And I'm excited about it. I think you'll see it isn't that far away, because if you look at this O-line and the way they've kind of started to come together, you look at some of the play of the young corners on the back end, these are the battle-tested scars that, next year will be better for it, and it sucks for this year for us. But and then you go out and have a chance with my hunting jacket to go out and see if I can find a couple pieces to add. And, one thing I do know is help is on the way.
Hey, Coach. I know obviously you get a chance to, going into the season, you talked a lot about, Nolan Ray and his kind of potential. Obviously, in this past week, you got a chance to put together some pretty successful runs, especially in the second half there. I'm just kind of curious, from just seeing him every day in practice, where have you kind of seen him grow kind of from, maybe week 1 till now?
Yeah, I think the biggest place is 2 weeks ago, and I even told this story, I don't know where I told it, but we were in the middle of a blitz pickup, and, we got some really heavy-handed young linebackers, 16, Daniel Wingate and Kiari James and Flowers. These guys are really big, heavy-handed, dense guys, and, they're on our scout team playing linebackers, so they're giving us the look. Well, a couple weeks ago in the blitz pickup period, I just heard one of the loudest collisions of all year, and it was Nolan and Kiari James in the A-gap, and it was a collision. And, Nolan kind of got the best of that one. It kind of came back, and it was almost like an aha moment. Like, you know what? When young running backs learn to play without the ball, that's when you start to see them come along. And that's, that was a big-time pickup, a scout team deal. But it was the first time I saw him put his hands, and be really physical. And it was almost like, wow. And I think from that point on, I've started to see him. It's like when Roman came on into the Virginia Tech game, and all of a sudden he hit the scenes, and I feel like that's the direction I've seen Nolan going the last couple of weeks. But it also has also been tied to the young O-line, the Hershey's, the Therese Davises, the Baws, and Alan Haran, who had a tough day a week ago. But that tough day will benefit us.
Like, is there a certain point if the game goes sideways where you want to put in some young players who haven't got much playing time, to see what they can do?
Well, we do that in practice, Ed, and I mean, to be honest, that's why we practice the way we do. And, I respect the game too much that, when you do make those type of changes and switches, it's not because of the course of the game. It's because you want to continue to develop other players. And that's what we've done around here a lot, and it's kind of been the secret sauce for when when you build your team through the draft, which is when you build it through high school players, the secret sauce is how do you develop them quick. And the only way you do is when you practice the 1s and 3s, 2s and 4s, and these reps become kind of foundational pieces in practice. And once you get into a game, if we're afforded the opportunity to get a player 10 to 15 plays in a game, I think that's always great for us and how we develop. But they got to be the right time at the right place.
And you mentioned how difficult this season has been for you. Is it just the record, or is it something else that's been the
No,
most challenging
it's just we
part?
underachieved, and I'm the leader of a bunch that I had high expectations for. You know, because I want it for them. It's like a parent, you want your kids to have success, and they worked. I mean, it wasn't because we didn't work. It was because we didn't necessarily work to the level at which we're capable or make the plays that were there. And some of it, you know, as I've said, once we get through this game, it'll be interesting to be able to go through it. But I can tell you, you know, you look at this season, and there's probably a handful, 15, 20 plays that will dictate kind of the way this season went, and it's just a matter of making those plays in our favor being the difference.
Mike, it's been a less than ideal season. What do you, as far as where this program is, your building of it, what are you thankful for as far as how things have developed this
You know what, as I've said before, man, to be able to be a head coach that, you know, to get a second chance to be a head coach, and when I talk about growing up with these group of seniors, I mean, I came here in 2019, and obviously the program where it was at that time, you know, and to see, I sold a dream to these guys, and to see that the work of that dream, where they put this program on a foundation, because that's what I was selling. I was selling the dream. So I'm really thankful for the parents, the kids, the ones that are here still, and even the ones that came for a short season or for a season of playing a small role in creating a foundation that we actually have expectations, man. We're sitting here disappointed about how we played this year, and you know, it's always ask yourself the question: is it a better place than when you came here? And so I'm really thankful that this opportunity was presented to me, but even more thankful for the tons of kids that have come through this program over the last 5-6 seasons with me to help me rebuild Maryland football and create a foundation that I feel really confident that we'll be able to build on.
And one of the few bigger challenges than building a football program in the Big Ten, constructing a Thanksgiving table, especially with NIL, with transfers now. Has that affected your ability to put together the correct amount of sides?
It has, man, because, you know, this group with the portal and the amount of NIL involved, these guys don't eat Kraft macaroni and cheese out the box anymore. They have a really high palate taste for high-end food. So a little caviar here, you know, fine Cabernet, Silver Oak on the side, you know, something really nice. But no, we'll do Thanksgiving really well. We're actually doing it at my house because I got to get on a bus the next morning, and I didn't feel like driving all the way down to Fort Washington to the Outlaws' house and hang out down there. So I'll get to hide around my house and eat, go kind of take a nap somewhere, and not have to, you know, worry about a place to take a nap and be comfortable.
And a follow-up, you took over the play calling duties earlier this season on the field. Have you also taken over the play calling duties at the table? Do you script the first 15 bites?
Well, I tell you what I did do is I did some preliminary scouting, and, you know, I know this place called Grill Marks that I'm a big fan of this place across the street, and they've got an executive chef named Doug, and, you know, Doug makes this turducken, all right? Turducken is a turkey that's stuffed with chicken and duck and stuffing, and so I saw it, like, for some reason, I don't know why this, is it X or Twitter or whatever, but, like, things just keep popping up. I was thinking about the turkey, and then turducken thing pops up, and I'm like, so I screenshot it and sent it to Doug and said, hey, can I get 4 of these turduckens? So Dougie Fresh is going to hook me up with a turducken over there at Grill Marks. You should try it. Great place, I heard, to go for watching. Before you go watch Derek Queen, you should stop at Grill Marks, right? But no, the turducken is the thing. This year, it's, you know, I got 4 of them too. So we got a few players that may be stopping over, and we'll get to see if old Chef Doug knows what he's doing, because you got to put that Cajun kind of shot in it. It's a kind of a New Orleans style deal. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, the captains, I already said that, right? All right, good. Captains, I got so excited. Same to y'all, man.
lot of rivalry games this weekend in college football. Just where do you guys look at Penn State in terms of level of rivalry, given the proximity to you? I'm sure you guys know each other pretty well.
Yeah, we see each other every year. It has been a rivalry over the years. I think it's just because of how close we are. They recruit guys from DMV just like we do, so I think that's what kind of makes it a rivalry, and it's a good game to play.
Are you kind of framing this as your bowl game, given it's the last game of the season in terms of the senior class?
Yeah, it's all about sending them out the right way. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a bowl game, but to us, this is like our bowl game to us. We're gonna send them out the right way. Do everything in our power to get this one for them.
Hey, Kellen. Drew Aller, his completion percentage has jumped this year. He's a lot more accurate quarterback. In terms of pressure, things that you guys are working on, especially at that second level, to try to get through the line of scrimmage and in the backfield more?
Yeah, Drew's he's had a great season. You definitely see the progression he's had from this year to last year, and even my freshman year, when he was there. We got to find ways to get to him, to slow him down, and that's why we do what we do throughout the week to, game plan and find ways to, slow their offense down, because the offense runs through him, of course, the quarterback. So as we can slow him down, we can slow everything else down, and we can manage the game.
Kellen, second straight week, you guys are going to face a top-flight running game in the Big Ten. Their tandem a little bit different than what Iowa offered. How do these guys differ from what you faced last Saturday?
This team, they do a lot of things as far as trying to disguise a lot of what they do. But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. They're ultimately going to try to run right at you. See how you respond to what they're going to do. So we're preparing as we speak. And we're looking forward to it.
And then moving forward, a chance to play spoiler this Saturday. Is there any conversation of that at all?
Say it one more time.
Playing spoiler, Penn State is in contention for the playoffs.
We're just going out there to win. Like I said earlier, we're trying to send the seniors out right. And this is what we could at least do. Is get a win for them.
Kellen, what's been the most difficult part about the season for you?
As the season went on, obviously it's not where we wanted to be as a team. I don't think anybody wants to be here at where we're at right now as a team. But teams go through things, and some things are unexpected. We weren't expecting this to happen. So I think just learning from this season particularly, it'll help us in the long run. We did a lot of things great this season as well, even though the record may not say it for sure. And I'm super proud of the guys for how they acted and responded to how our season panned out.
And Mike was saying how he's confident that this team, this program can make strides building off of this for next year. What gives you that confidence?
Yeah, we had a lot of young guys play this year, and next year they won't be considered young. So, those guys learning from their mistakes, even older guys learn from their mistakes. As a whole, it'll make us better as one next year.
Nolan, what can a game like this do to kind of set the tone for next season? You guys are playing that.
It's just important, we're going in to play a good team, so we got to go out there, play hard, try and send the seniors the right way. We know we're a good football team, and a win like this is going to, help remind us of that and kind of give us that momentum going into next year.
How much you guys looking at this game as kind of a bowl game?
It has to be, we weren't able to make a bowl game this year, but just sending the seniors out the right way, despite our record, playing hard for the last game and kind of headbutting the finish like we talk about, with Coach Locks, just to make sure that we give the seniors their farewell that they deserve.
I asked Coach Locks, but obviously, kind of coming into the season, I know you got a chance to play a game last year, but just kind of from week 1 till, really this past weekend, I guess, where do you feel like you've kind of grown, or what do you feel like maybe kind of comes easier for you in the game?
I think everything, probably the biggest thing is reading a defense. It's not something I had to do a lot in high school, obviously. Pass blocking, cuts, everything. I feel like I've grown a lot as a player, pass protection, things like that.
I know pass protection probably that underrated trait in the running back room that everyone kind of overlooks, but Locksley kind of credited you for having a pretty big block a couple weeks ago in practice. Do you feel like that's something that you kind of take strides in, or do you feel like that was kind of a moment where it kind of clicked that this is a strength for you?
Definitely. I think it's one of the things I focused on the most this season. Probably one of the things I was least confident with, and I'm pretty confident with it now. I enjoy doing it, and it's just something I've tried to work hard on all season.
End of the season, of course, but starting to see some of those gaps and things like that open up in the run game for you and for Roman is it's finally starting, end of your freshman season, of course, but starting to kind of click and come together in being able to exploit those gaps now and turn them into some chunk plays.
Definitely. I mean, we go to work with the O-line every day, running the ball. We know not everything, it's not going to be there all the time, but we just got to make sure when we get those opportunities, we got to take advantage of them because you never know when they're going to be there.
And Billy's been banged up all season, Coach Locke said. You guys are with him day in, day out since fall camp and even before. Can you just speak to the kind of leader he is, almost by example, through him gritting out these, staying in the game, wanting to come back this past Saturday and all season, just kind of enduring the things he's had to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, Billy's a selfless guy. I mean, you saw it last game with him coming in and out, banged up, still trying to go out there and finish strong, for the last however many games we have left. So that just speaks to the type of leader and person that he is.
Nolan, defensively, what have you guys heard about Penn State, what they do for teams?
I mean, we're really focused on the pressure that they bring. They like to send a lot of blitzes, good pressure off the edge. So that's, what we're focused on. Like I was saying, pass protection, what I've been working on is going to be huge this week. So something I'm focused on.
And what does this senior class mean to you, these kids who are playing their final games for this program this Saturday?
I mean, they mean everything. They built, this foundation, this program that I've come into. And, I'm trying to uphold the standard that they've set. So we're just trying to send them out the right way and, do everything we can for them because they deserve to win that last game.
Nolan, what gives you a sense of optimism that what's occurring this year is just a rarity? It's not something that's going to continue for the rest of the
Going into practice, I mean, all the way back to August, seeing the type of team that we have, that's what gives me the optimism. I know what type of team we are. We're a great team. The record might not reflect it to people on the outside, but when you're on the inside putting in the work, you see what the guys have.
mentioned people on the outside, when you hear that they're disillusioned or disappointed with the season, what can you say to them to convince them to not sort of abandon ship?
Just know that we're working, and we're going to take everything that we've learned from this, previous year, not having the success that we wanted. We're going to apply it and make sure that things are different next year.